Yarok the Desecrated versus Varolz the Scar-Striped. Yeah, that's a pretty good hand actually. I very much like Azusa and Oracle and Tatyova. So definitely going to keep that one. Okay, we draw into Hinterland Harbour, which means we want to throw out an island. So we'll go for a breeding pool here. Then the Drowned Catacomb and the Hinterland Harbour can each come in untapped. A reassembling skeleton for our opponent. Hopefully they don't get into a skull clamp. We get into a bomb in this deck. That's Obnixilis the Fallen. So we've got two really good 5-drops to play later. But as for now, yeah, we don't have anything to do this turn, so we'll just have to throw out a land and pretend that we're holding up counter magic. Then a Bloodbriar for our opponent. Whenever you sacrifice another permanent, put a plus counter on this. I'm hoping that this isn't too casual a deck from our opponent. Not trying to patronise them, but we've got some pretty powerful stuff in this deck. And I don't really like to upload stuff in which I'm steamrolling people, although it does happen sometimes. Getting to a 3 visits, a turn too late unfortunately. So let's throw out the Azusa. We will make use of that 3 visits, just not yet. Make our second land drop in Thespian Stage, and that means we can definitely go for Oracle of Muldiah next turn. Our opponent drops an Ancient Tomb and goes straight in for Michaeloth. And they sacrifice the Reassembling Skeleton, so that gets a couple of plus counters on it, which means a couple of Saprolings at the beginning of the upkeep. And this now has a plus counter on it as well, due to that sacrifice. Might be throwing Azusa away sooner than we'd like. Depends how many lands we rip into off the top. Well, there's an Assassin's Trophy, so that's potentially an answer. Let's hope for a land on top here with Oracle. Even a clump of lands would be very much appreciated. Well, that's sort of a land on top, a Sol Ring. Can't do anything else there, so let's just pass. Magical Christmas land with these two in play would be to get, what would it be, 2 additional, 1 additional, so 4 lands off the top. Our opponent not struggling to make their land drops either. And they get into their commander, and then deciding to sacrifice a Saproling to the Varolz to put a regeneration shield on it. And that puts a plus counter on this thing, so that is 10 damage coming in at us. I think we have to sacrifice Azusa here, so hopefully we don't hit that pocket of lands I was hoping for. We do not. We do have Primeval Titan on top though. How about we go for our commander here, because it puts a Death Toucher in the way, and I think they may want to keep their Michaeloth in play for just a little bit longer. So let's not use the 3 visits so that we draw into prime time next turn, and then we'll throw out a Death Toucher. And we'll see if our opponent wants to do anything about that. They could go for Blighted Fen and force us to sack a creature. Michaeloth will trigger again, of course, giving them some more sap tokens. And I think they are going for the Sacrifice Clause here. Yep, they sure are. So that is now 3 plus counters on the Bloodbriar. We will get rid of Oracle of Muldiah. And then there's a lot of stuff coming in here. That is 6 and 11 power, which would knock us down to 10, but then we'd kill off our opponent's commander, although they can regenerate that, can't they? But we can gain some life here, so let's just stem the bleeding a little bit. Then some more plus counters going onto the Bloodbriar, so we go down to 12. Alright, Primeval Titan is the thing I was waiting for here. So let's go for the 3 visits first. Get ourselves into a black mana with that. And then we can go for prime time. And this will trigger twice. And I hate to do the usual in this deck, but I think we have to go for Field of the Dead here, because we need some chump blockers in play. Our opponent doesn't have any trample currently. So let's lay down the Field of the Dead. We'll go Field of the Dead, and we'll go in for Dark Depths as well. This is on the first trigger, and we get 2 triggers from each land entering. 2 have entered, so that's 4 in total. And Field of the Dead bringing in untapped zombies is so good. And then we get another Primeval Titan trigger. And we're just going to grab the Cabal Coffers and Urborg combo. So our mana troubles should be null and void now. Not going to swing in with Yarok just in case our opponent goes for something like Toxic Deluge and gets rid of all our zombies. We want a couple of creatures to be able to block with if we are desperate. They've got 5 cards in hand. Went for Dark Depths, by the way, because we do have the Thespian Stage in play. So we can grab ourselves that Marit Lage token if we want to. I think it would be really good to get both Tatyova and Obnixilis into play next turn, although we could just go for Tooth and Nail. Actually, we might have so much mana that we can do all 3. They're deciding to swing in. I can't think if green has any instant speed trample enablers. I imagine they do, but I can't think of what any of them are. Let's block our opponent's commander with Yarok. Don't really mind so much if we lose that. And then we'll do some double blocking here, or maybe even triple blocking. Don't really mind if we lose a lot of zombies, just want to really over-exaggerate the blocks here. And then we'll block a couple of those saps as well. So it's a triple block on each big creature. Commander versus commander there, and then token versus token twice. Let's see what combat tricks our opponent may have. May have been just a really good bluff by my opponent, and they've decided to attempt to get rid of all these zombies. But I don't think so. I think they've got some kind of trick up their sleeve, and that's why they want to swing in. Going for Golgari Charm, -1/-1 to all creatures. Oh, they decided to regenerate each creature with the Golgari Charm, so that's what their aim was. Yeah, the aim wasn't to gang up on our opponent's creatures with zombies to get rid of them. I was actually waiting for some kind of mass buff and trample enabler. Well, our opponent definitely got rid of our zombies either way there. Let's throw out the Obnixilis. Won many a games in this deck with Obnixilis. Then we will throw out the Tatyova as well. This will start gaining us some life. And then with the floating mana, might as well get down Bloodghast as well. Then it's a case of swinging in with Primetime, and we'll go in with Yarok as well, just to gain a little bit of life. Primeval Titan triggers on attacking as well. So I think this is just a case of getting into some fetches so we can crack them for landfall next turn. Putting a Misty Rainforest and Polluted Delta into play, and getting a bunch of Field of the Dead triggers. And yeah, our opponent sees what is going on there. We were going to do 3 damage 4 times, which is obviously 12. And then we were going to draw 4 cards and gain 4 life. And we would have drawn into the guy's cradle. I don't think we've made a land drop for the turn, so that's another 6 points of damage on our opponent, which would have been 18. And then Growth Spiral could have drawn us a card. And yeah, we would have gotten into another land. Eternal Witness could have grabbed us the 3 visits to make landfall again. So I think we were going to win that turn. If not, we were going to be very close to it. Because, again, riding Obnixilis into victory. An absolute auto-include in a Yarok Lands Matter deck. Obnixilis has won us a lot of games. Hope you are all continuing to enjoy this Yarok Lands Matter deck. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.